All right, hello guys. Welcome to Thursday, the 5th of March, and you're getting a trade recap. Okay, what I'm gonna do from now on is kind of just show you guys my journal rather than the live market. If the live market is of anything important, then I'll show it to you guys. Okay, I'm currently in a trade at the minute, and I'm just kind of saying as we go. Okay, so looking at my calendar today, we had 8:30 unemployment claims, and that was that. Okay, weekly and/or daily analysis. So. Don't know why it's like that. On the daily, we've got an S&T at these lows. Okay, so we swept liquidity on the daily, right? And we get an S&T, right? So we move higher. Yesterday's candle does close above the previous candle. So if we can see here, it closes above. Okay, so the next possible target would be price moving higher. Okay, just looking at this. All right. Um, it fails to do so on ES, but that obviously you can mark out irrelevance potentially, given that we have this high time frame SMT. Okay. Yeah, the main thing to take away here is that we had a sweep and a lack of displacement lower. Just when looking at the daily, we could expect bullish price action. Okay. On the hourly, what do we see? So let me just obviously zoom in quickly. On the 4 hour, we can see that we rally on a higher and take out buy side liquidity on the NQ, but then we get an SMT on ES. Okay. This could be relevant, but could also be the reason that we decide to then push back into internal liquidity. Okay. Price seems to be respecting the 4 hour gap by wicking into it and moving a little higher. It's hard to assess for now as the candles are lingering around and we do not see large displacement through. You see how the candles at the time were really small, around being wicked around. And on the 1 hour, we can see price sort of respecting the bullish gap. Okay, but once again, the 4 hour still shows that the candles are just kind of lingering around and then there's no large displacement through, right? Large displacement would be breaking through this side here. Okay. Now pre-market. So that's London session, okay, in the box, and then we have New York. So midnight opening price, we see price move lower before moving higher, and reaching into this bullish gap, filling it in. Okay, London displaces through Asia session highs. Okay, and it also looks like we take out sell side of Asia and move on higher. Okay, we displace through. Now here on the Audi, I was curious to see what would happen on this gap. Okay. Why? If we're strongly bullish, we would close above it. Okay. I came into the conditional bias from the aspect of the high time frame SMT on those daily lows, as well as the bearish SMT on the 4 hour. If price tries to break down, it could be a draw into internal liquidity, which is these gaps here. If price decides not to do that, next targets are the external highs, so here, and then further bullish gaps, bearish gaps. Okay. In terms of London, I don't really see anything of severe importance happening. Okay, it's just kind of we're still in that range, but we do look overall bullish. Okay, given that obviously this gets displaced through and we actually move higher out of this gap. But yeah, the only thing that would give London any possible profile would be London reverse New York continuation by taking out Asia's lows. But I don't feel very confident about it, right? So what we're doing, just waiting until pretty much New York Open happened. Okay, looking at the 1 hour, we get a change in the state of delivery lower. So we had this sweep. Okay, we had this sweep. We had the SMT here. And what did we get? Our change in the state of delivery lower. Okay, so that would have been the leg higher. We get a change in state of delivery lower on the 1 hour. Okay. Price could want to push lower, filling in this internal liquidity range. I'm still looking at the high time for narrative of pushing for higher prices. Okay. So 30 minutes before market open, what does price do? Price begins to tank down and reaches into London session lows, okay? Which could be the step prior to a move higher following higher time frame narrative, right? An important thing to note is that London creates a bullish gap, right? In which price disrespects. So look here, we have an hourly gap, price disrespects it, okay? Which could be the case where we continue lower at a surplus to reach further internal draws, okay? Now, given that we have hit London lows, okay, I'm interested in seeing a 15-minute change in the state of delivery higher, okay? If not, we can set price to continue lower and generate more internal liquidity, okay? So market opens up and we see a bullish candle, right? If we get I'm looking to see if we get a change in state of delivery leg higher confirmed on the 15-minute. given that obviously we reached the bottom of this range, and I'm waiting for this change in state delivery now, okay? This was the trade idea. So we have the 5-minute displacement leg, and this is a 2-minute bullish gap within the range. And obviously targets are there. So what happens on NQ, we do get the change to state delivery, but on ES we do not, okay? There is a 5-minute displacement leg with a 2-minute bullish gap and a discount. Price has already reached my entry limit, but has failed to enter me, right? I don't know why price does that every now and then. But yeah. Price on ES looks like it's about to respect this bullish gap, okay? So given that this entry was missed, what I like saw is every time we respect a higher time frame gap like a 5-minute, if you go down into the 1-minute, you can see that there's going to be another displacement leg that's formed. And here I re-entered on this entry and placed my stop loss at this intermediate 5-minute low, okay? So I literally said here, I might do something risky and enter off a 1-minute gap that is an intermediate low on the 5-minute, okay? Which is what I do. So we reach the discount, which is this gap of this displacement leg within the 5-minute intermediate intermediate low that was formed on the bullish gap. And yeah, I should have taken this trade on ES, but it's fine. But yeah, price rallies on a little bit, okay? And I was just going to manage my risk accordingly, okay? I was going to wait for an intermediate low to form and then wait for price to push that a bit higher, okay? Given this expansive move higher, I'll move my stop loss to break even now, right? The reason I did this is because price should have no reason to break below this region because there's nothing valuable on any of the higher time frames, okay? Unless obviously it wants to begin reversing and going in the other direction, okay? Price does what? It reaches my break even, okay? So I lose nothing on this trade. It was simply just a break even trade. I was gonna let price play around for a little bit to see what's going on at the minute. And this could be the case of taking a short, given that we get a change in the state delivery lower here, right? Why? Because we have an SMT at the London highs. You see NQ just about wicks in, and we start seeing displacement lower, and here we have an SMT, okay? So obviously just with better conviction, there you go, you can see it. Now, looking at this as well, let me actually just go into the previous picture. This could be a seek and destroy market as well. Why? Because we took out London low, we took out London high, okay? But here, we don't do that, we get an SMT lower, okay? And obviously, we were trading within the range. So this was the short setup idea. Change the state delivery lower, okay, which we get on the 15-minute. And then the 5-minute displacement leg here. And then we have a discounted 5-minute gap, okay? So CSD lower from the displacement leg below with the 3-minute gap in the premium, okay? What I ended up doing is I refined my entry to the 50% of the 5-minute displacement leg, right? Because obviously price continued a little bit low, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken. No, okay, this was the original leg, but I put my entry at the 50% because obviously that happens a lot where price just taps into the 50% and then it's cool to continue going low, okay? And then at this point, I get entered on this trade, okay? We can see price has not actually reached this gap. Let me show you, yep, so we don't actually reach the gap whatsoever. But then look what happens. I have no clue how I'm still in this trade. Price hit break even, right? So what happened was we broke this swing low, okay? And then market gave an intermediate high, right? So this was the intermediate high, we're in the 5-minute gap, swing low broken, bang, break even, okay? Now looking at this, I traded my stop loss a little bit too early, and if I would have gotten stopped out, you know, that would have been a lesson, okay? But I got quite lucky, okay? And since then, price has declined lower, okay? Breaking through these lows, get a gap, bang, we're moving lower, okay? My stop loss is at this 15-minute intermediate high, right? Reason being is I've been in the market long enough and I'm happy to take my profits at this current moment in time. And it could be a change of the state delivery high, right? Because we sweep, and this could be a change of the state delivery, right? So I'm not trying to risk it here, okay? But yeah, looking back at the market, we look like we're getting close to taking profit. Yeah, the thing is, I'm gonna go get food because I'm fucking starving and work is just being a bitch of me, bro. Low key, like, um, but yeah, this is what it's looking like. I think we're just kind of chopping now. Um, we do look like we're chopping a little bit. We have a gap and it's low that price wants to obviously reach. Hopefully at the end of this session. If not, then it doesn't. That's completely okay. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna pause the recording and come back with information depending on see how the trade goes. I'm always interested in looking at the lower time frames in terms of refining my stop loss. But here, I don't really see what the move into this was apart from the maybe the bearish order block on a 1 minute. Is there a 1 minute bearish? Like here, maybe this bearish order block gets respected. Actually want to see something. Gently suppress my emotions. Just about reach the mean threshold, and then we continue lower. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna pause it here, and I'm gonna decide what I want to do with food, and I'll be back. Okay. Also, kind of forgot to mention that I have moved my take profit just a little further than this low because there is this gap. Okay. But yeah, after that, I'm just gonna sit it out and not get greedy because moving it already was, I feel like, a little bit just a tad bit greedy. Okay. Hello. I'll just quickly come back. You see this 5 minute gap being respected. I'm gonna put my stop loss at this high, um, just in case, because I don't really like the look of that, especially here as well. If we're respecting it, then I don't really want price to kind of catch us out. So let's obviously make sure that I am at the correct. It's the high 950. Yep, cool. I'm gonna confirm my position. Obviously, depending if we get stopped out or not, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that's what I'll come back with. Perfectly just in time. I get stopped out just as I was about to hit the treadmill. So, price does reach our stop loss. So let me just write that. Price reaches our stop loss. Okay, let me actually come back, guys, when I've completed my lessons learned from today's training session. Okay, coming back. So, quite a short one. Overall, the market ended up doing the other option instead of rallying higher. So, do you remember how in the beginning I had the option of price either going down and taking extra internal liquidity or price continuing to pump up higher, right? It went back down into internal liquidity. Okay. The first trade I took, it was managed with good risk, which is what allowed me to take the second trade. Okay. Poor risk management on that would have resulted in me losing and therefore not being able to take another trade. And that would have been it on the day. But yeah, on the second trade, I quickly adapted and remained patient, letting the market come to me. So we had the 5 minute displacement leg, and then we tapped in. Okay. In summary, this day was a good day. In terms of testing my patience, which I enjoyed, I also allowed for a much looser bias and integrated conditional bias with more power. Okay. So I think my issue was either being too tunnel visioned on a particular bias or being too conditional. Okay, there has to be a barrier when it comes to it. You can't be too conditional and you can't be too tunnel visioned. You have to hit a middle area in that. Okay, so that's that for today. I hope you guys learned something from it, and I'll see you lot tomorrow. Bye bye. There's no back test today. No back test today. I'm gonna relax. Okay.